So something that's really important in Fortnite specifically is the ability to play defensively and the ability to heal. And a lot of people don't know how to heal properly, and it might sound odd at first, right? Because like healing is just left clicking on the minis or left clicking on the bigs. Like it's not that complicated. Actually, it is, but it's not the left clicking that's complicated. It's the speed at which you start the heal. The when what sort of position are you in when you start that heal, so that you're not going to get interrupted. Are you going to expand in the opposite direction to create space for yourself? Are you going to put yourself in a position where you have enough time to pop that heal, or are you just going to waste time? Because a lot of times, trying to pop a big, getting it off to like 4 seconds, and then getting interrupted is the biggest reason why some people lose fights. For some people, that's actually the case, right? Because they don't know the proper methods to actually do it and put themselves in a position where they don't get interrupted. It's very important to do this properly, right? So in this video, that's something that we'll be learning about, along with a bunch of other fighting things. I learned a lot about my own weaknesses and what I should be working on, and let's get into it, guys. Let's get right into it. Alright, so in this fight, you'll notice right away that I'm sort of observing a high ground fight happening, a 1v1 happening in the middle of Lazy Lake. But it's really important that I approach this fight in the right angle and make sure that I'm doing it correctly. So I want to launch pad and land on height instead of ramping up from below. You'll notice that once I land on height, I'm trying to stay aware completely of my surroundings just so I don't get caught up and shot from behind. So you'll notice I immediately wall my back as I see someone. He dies to fall damage, and then I work on aggressing the final player. I do a little bit of sloppy job here, but then grab this wall, miss the edit, so that needs to be worked on, right? Like in my personal skill level, like I that should not be happening, and I should be hitting those edits every single time, first try. Right here, I pump the floor, pickaxe it, right? And pumping the floor makes it one hit so that I can pickaxe it once and catch him by surprise. I edit, place a cone, shoot, reset, hold, and then edit again after my pump's ready and finish the fight. In this second fight, I sort of see him on a right hand where he's just sitting and trying to look at me. I do a little bit of a trade where I hit him 20, but then I don't try to sit on the right hand. Like that's obviously an advantage for him. So I try to get out of that situation and not handshake it because it's clearly not good for me. It's good for him. So screw that. Let's just not play in that sort of play style. Right here, I try to grab as many walls as I can, and one of them actually ends up paying off. I go out to the right after full boxing him, create a window, go for a peek, and then after, notice how I make this wide edit on purpose, actually, because I know that the only way he lives here is if he shoots my wall to retake it, and making this wide edit makes it completely impossible for him to AR my wall and take it from me. So this sort of edit right here is going to be very key to win these sorts of fights, and to give your opponent no chance at recovering whatsoever. This clip isn't a fight, but it just goes to show you how quickly you can pop off heals if you don't hesitate and you create boxes really quickly. So just try to minimize all the waiting and all the unnecessary slowness in your process to box and start popping that big. And if you do that, you're less likely to be interrupted while you're popping that big because you've started it so fast after getting hit. So here I do a really bad peek, get hit, and then I immediately box, don't even hesitate, and start popping the big right away. And that sort of minimizes the time, right? Like it makes it really efficient. And then this guy who just hit me is not going to be able to push and interrupt me taking this big. In this fight, I'm sort of sneaking up, and I look for the third party, which I find, and kill someone that's really low HP. And then I try to really pay attention and make sure I'm fully aware of my surroundings. And I notice the second guy coming in. I'm getting third partied, so I go down, away from the guy that I'm fighting, and then really try to make distance to pop some heals. But you'll see that I know that I can pop this big, so I get it off. But unfortunately, he tries to 50-50 me. This just shows how good and important crosshair placement is. Do you see how much damage I did there? Let's just watch this back, right? So as he jumps in my box, my crosshair is perfectly placed, and I notice that the other guy that third-partied me is going to be coming as well. So I crosshair placed there as well. I hit him down 199, I believe, and he just really hurt. And that gives me the window, because of the amount of damage that I did, to really go for the heals. Unfortunately, I slip up here. I cannot edit this wall at all. He pumps the weak wall, which is really good on his side. He's super aware of the HP. Cones me and kills me while I'm trying to hide behind the cone. In this next fight, I'm in a boat, and I see this car coming up in front of me. I see that someone else is actually shooting at this car, so I get out and shoot at him too, and try to use the rock to my right to sort of cover me from the other kid. But I'm really sloppy here, just because of how like the floors sort of interact and stop me from moving. And then I'm really bad with the ramp edit here. So this guy gets in my box. Luckily for me, I hit a really nice shot and catch him off guard. But then just really notice how, as I'm getting third-partied, I expand and put myself in a position where the third party cannot see me, right? So I put myself behind the hard brick, and that really gives me a really good position to pop these heals. And then after that, I'm running. I'm constantly running, making distance. Do not sit in the same box at, like, for an extended period of time if you're trying to pop heals, right? You need to run. You need to make space in order for you to actually get the time to pop these heals, okay? So make sure that that's what you're doing, because a lot of people, at least the amateurs and the intermediate players that I watch, a lot of them just sit in one spot, and as their wall gets taken, they're trying to hold, they get full pieced, and they're just dead after that. Just keep making distance. If all Fortnite players move at the same speed in this game, right? Every single Fortnite model moves at the same speed. So if you're constantly running away, there's a very little chance, or at least it's going to make it harder for the enemy, that he's going to be able to catch up to you and finish off the kill, right? That's going to give you a lot of time. So be mobile, be slippery, just don't sit in one spot. That's the sin of Fortnite, I swear. So this next clip is actually a continuation of the previous one. I actually successfully pop off the shields. There's 1 or 2 people above me, which I'm trying to work out. Here's a bad angle in my opinion. I really shouldn't be going for something like this. I should really try to take height like I do here, and try to work from the top, and then go down. This guy's completely unaware from me, right? He has no clue I'm here. So then I try to take that advantage and go for a shot on him. He hits me pretty hard, but I'm still 142 HP. I'm going to look to pop the heal. Notice how I expand in the opposite direction as this guy's coming in, and then go for the counter peek after he pumps. So if you notice, if we watch it back one more time, that after he pumps, his pump is not ready. So that gives me a really good window to go for a peek. Watch this one more time, really, really slowly. You see that? So like as he shoots my wall, that's a really good opportunity. And then when he gets my wall, I panic. And this is where the edit accuracy really comes in, and making sure my edit accuracy is good. And I'm able to not, mess those up. Here I go for the double piece control. It doesn't really work out. And then later on, he tries to hold a wall, which is another sin of Fortnite. Do not hold a wall. Always assume that when an enemy's smacking on your wall, they're going to get it first try, okay? And even if that's not the case, it's best to assume the worst case scenario so that you're prepared for it, okay? So I see this next guy, I use a launch pad to get closer, and then I do the bad mistake, right, of using wood here and not reinforcing the builds. And then also I'm not, healing properly. Like I should be full walking there. But in general, I expand out to make some space and make some distance so I can pop more heals. I notice him getting really close to my wall, right? So then he's stuck here. Like, because I took that long-range wall and try to box fight him in that manner, he gets stuck, and I do a lot of damage, something like 140 damage to him, right? Mess up the little sequence there and not shoot my pump, so that needs to be cleaner. But in general, very easy to kill. Notice how I jump in when I have a huge HP advantage. When it's 140 HP to something like 50 HP on his end, I will be happily jump in and look for the kill. As long as he's not, pre-firing me, I'm paying attention, he's, holding his blueprints, I feel pretty safe to jump in there. So that's it for today, guys. I hope you guys learned something new, especially about healing and the proper way to do it, and making sure you're starting that big really quickly, and you're expanding in the opposite direction every time you need to make more space to buy yourself more time to heal. All these concepts are very important, and you'll actually notice a significant improvement in your fighting if you apply these concepts in game. So definitely look to do that. Otherwise, that's it from me, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.